Hey everyone, and welcome back to Fine Print. Today, we continue our second episode of the Insider Files, where we explore the journeys of those individuals in history whose identities are often unknown. Each episode, we will cover the life and missions of a spy who transformed the geopolitical landscapes of the regions in which they operated, and how their contributions altered global power dynamics in the years after their operations. On today's episode, we will be covering the life, journey, and legacy of Virginia Hall, a British and American agent who supported the French resistance in Nazi-occupied France, transmitting intelligence, aiding French airmen, and sabotaging German infrastructure, all while having a prosthetic leg. Part 1. Quiet Beginnings. Virginia Hall was born on April 6, 1906 in Baltimore to Edwin Hall and Barbara Hamill, and had an older brother named John. In high school, Virginia became the editor-in-chief of her school's yearbook, class president in her senior year, and soon attended Harvard, Columbia, and George Washington University, where she studied languages and economics. She finished her higher studies in France, Germany, and Austria, and got an appointment as a consular service clerk at the U.S. Embassy in Poland. When she was later transferred to Turkey in 1933, while hunting, Virginia tripped and accidentally shot herself in the foot. Receiving an amputation soon after, her lower left leg was replaced by a wooden appendage. Despite the surgery, she continued her work in Venice and Estonia. Although she attempted to become a U.S. diplomat on multiple occasions, she was turned down, whether it be because she was a woman or because she was disabled. Part 2. The War. Virginia became an ambulance driver for the French army, but after their defeat, she moved to Spain. She then joined the Special Operations Executive a year later. Her cover was being a reporter for the New York Post, which in turn allowed her to gather information through interviews. Based in Lyon, France, Virginia greatly assisted the French in World War II. Whether it be extracting contacts, aiding the injured agents, or managing the logistics of the operation, she essentially self-learned everything. She learned to be cautious in her ways, which could be seen through the duration in which she remained undiscovered. The winter of 1941 was the worst for Hall, though. She stated in a letter that she would both be happy and cleaner if the SOE would simply send her a piece of soap, and had limited contacts near her. The French eventually nicknamed her La Dame qui Boite, meaning the limping lady, and the Germans put her name on their most wanted list. When Hall found out that 12 agents arrested by the French police were incarcerated, she assembled safe houses, vehicles, and helpers for the prisoners to escape. The prisoners eventually escaped on July 15, 1942. On November 7, 1942, the American consulate informed Hall of a possible Allied invasion of North Africa. Hall then escaped from Lyon because of her prediction that the Germans would move in to increase their occupation of France. She reached Spain 2 days later, having walked about 50 miles through snowy, rugged terrains. Although she was arrested in Spain for her illegal entrance into the country, the American embassy released her soon after. She then began to work in the Special Operations Executive in Madrid. Part 3. The Hunt in France. Hall was contacted by the American Office of Strategic Services and was soon hired. She received an ID card with her fake name being Marcel Montaigu. She was now part of a larger effort to coordinate the Normandy invasion of June 6, 1944, also known as D-Day. Hall was disguised as an older woman, which also covered up for her limp. She walked around the streets of Paris, where she established safe houses, contacts with people from the French resistance, and organized drop zones for airmen. She further organized and armed resistance groups throughout France. Soon, she was assigned to help facilitate Operation Dragoon, where she financed the Maquis leaders and gave them arms, but only if they followed her orders. Her groups undertook many successful sabotages, and Hall returned to Paris in April of 1945, where she wrote the names of those who had helped her and deserved recognition. Part 4. Post-World War II. Hall resigned from the OSS and joined the Central Intelligence Agency in 1947, where she gathered intel about Soviet intervention in European countries during the Cold War, although she resigned a year later. In the 1950s, she helped set up resistance groups across Europe in response to Soviet threats, and supported undercover operations to prevent the spread of communism. She retired in 1966, at the age of 60, the required retirement age. Part 5. Legacy. In a secret CIA report of Hall's career, it was stated that many of her colleagues felt that Hall's work was sidelined simply because of her gender. More often than not, she was more experienced than her male counterparts, who felt threatened by her and thus wrote poor performance reports, denied her promotions, and prevented her from getting recognition. Hall passed away on July 8, 1982, in Maryland, living till the age of 76, and dedicating her life to espionage, anti-Nazi, and anti-communist missions. Hall was awarded the Distinguished Service Cross in 1945, marking the only DSC awarded to a female civilian in World War II. American President Harry Truman wanted to publicize the award, but like the many other awards Hall received, she denied, as she was still operational and didn't want to risk getting caught. In 1988, Hall's name was added to the Military Intelligence Corps Hall of Fame, and a CIA field agent training facility was named the Virginia Hall Expeditionary Center. Virginia Hall's legacy is one that marks a tale of relentless determination, showing the true nature of espionage. Her work quietly shaped the outcome of World War II and the Cold War, and redefined the status of women in intelligence.